Alright guys, what's going on? It's your boy Player X here with Semi-Limited Podcast. As you can tell, we're just two guys doing a podcast because why do therapy when you can talk about a podcast? But we are joined today with our guest, Ian Fitzpatrick.
Hey, what's going on, guys? You can also call me Mr. Blue Eyes.
No, he's not Mr. Blue Eyes. He's Mr. Sato Kaiba himself. We get your opinion, which is good because we get people who haven't played for a while, who play casually, and then who play competitively. So it does get the people fucking going. All right, so we're just going to talk about a couple topics. We'll step by some things. So I guess to talk about it, we'll talk about the first new card revealed. So what got announced in the OCG for us, I think I just deleted all of it, but we got Armed Neos. Yeah, we are. Armed Neos is
right into the business.
A really cool card. It's coming out. It's obviously a hero card. It's a wind monster, level 10 warrior, 3,500 attack, 3,000 defense. So it's definitely got some crazy stats. But its effects or its fusion materials are one elemental hero Neos and then one armed dragon monster. And it must be fusion summon. This card is special summon. You can choose one dragon monster in your graveyard, destroy all monsters in your opponent controls with an equal or lower level. Level, not attack, not defense, level. When this card destroys a monster by battle, you can make this card gain this effect, which is during the main phase, just the main phase, yours or your opponent's, quick effect. You can tribute this card to special summon one elemental hero fusion monster from your extra deck, ignoring its summoning condition, which is, in my opinion, pretty busted. But that got us thinking into targets for elemental heroes, and what they could go into now that they have this card at its disposal. Because in the OCG, there's going into a myriad of different things. But the two cool ones that we learned about today were Elemental Hero Nebula Neos and Elemental Hero Cosmo Neos. So Elemental Hero Nebula Neos says, must be special summoned by the extra deck, but that doesn't matter because we're ignoring its summoning condition. If this card is special summoned from the extra deck, draw cards equal to the number of cards your opponent controls, then negate the effects of one face-up card on the field until the end of your turns, which means it doesn't target the negate either. Once per turn during the end phase, shuffle this card into the deck, and if you do, banish all cards on the field face down. Banish all cards on the field face down. That's crazy. I think that's insane. And then the other one is Elemental Hero, what is it? Cosmo Neos, right? Yeah, Cosmo Neos. And that one is... Yeah, you thought the first one was good.
Now, if you guys thought the first one was good, wait till you look at this.
This one says, must first be special summoned from your extra deck, but like I said, doesn't matter. But if this card is special summoned from the extra deck, you can activate this effect, which triggers for the rest of the turn, your opponent cannot activate cards. Also, cards your opponent control cannot activate their effects. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to this card's activation. And then, once per turn during the end phase, shuffle this card into the extra deck, and if you do, destroy all cards your opponent controls. That's it. Destroy all cards your opponent controls. That's
obviously broken effects, but what are we playing this?
Anything that you can play to any deck, almost similar to how people were playing Phoenix Destroyer, because you can just play Neos Fusion, which dumps the two materials. You can, I think, technically play. There's another one Trent was talking about that puts another way to just dump them from the deck to the graveyard. So you have to play the one brick of the Armed Dragon level 10, but who cares about that? If it resolves, then at the end of your turn, you get a card that's going to wipe the board and your opponent controls of level 10 or lower monsters, which the only ones who are unaffected by that are 11 and 12 synchro or level monsters or XYZs, which I think is pretty cool, and link monsters, I guess. And then it tags out if it destroys a monster into a fusion summon card that says, all right, your opponent's not playing the game, and at the end of the turn, destroy everything that they just set, or a card that says, I'm negating or I'm drawing basically 5 or 6 cards, and then I'm going to negate a card, and then at the end of the turn, I'm banishing everything face down. I think that's crazy.
That is pretty nutty. I mean, I really think some people that are going to be excited about this is definitely community pizza. Not gonna lie.
Oh, they're gonna get their game on. They're definitely gonna
I
get their game
cannot
on.
wait for his reaction video after his first couple playing this card, guys. I tell you what.
Now, if this does become a DPE type of engine, what is the meta going to look like? How are we stopping this? What do you think is going to be the anti?
Bro, what could you use? I mean, I guess Ash on the Neo's fusion. Here, let me look up Neo's fusion right quick.
So you're saying the return of Ash?
I mean, Ash is still, I guess, in the format. It may be the lesser of the hand traps right now, but it's still a 1-for-1.
That's actually a good, honest question. You know, I've been out of the meta now for a while. I haven't really been going or playing or anything like that. So, like, what is the current meta right now? Like, what are some of the top decks right now?
We're in a quote-unquote Tier 0 format of Tier Shizu. So I don't know if you know, are you familiar with these Shizu cards and how they operate?
Yeah, kind of, sort of, like, yeah. Because, like, I know, like, everyone, like, a lot of decks are playing Dimension Shifter right now.
Yeah.
But, like, what are some of the, like, what are the other hand traps that are being played right now, like, in the main board? Like,
I feel like
people,
it's kind of just,
hand
even right now, I think it's like the perfect time to play hand traps because no one's going to want to play hand traps after. When we get Photon Hypernova, we get a spell card called Triple Tactics Tasking. And that card is absolutely insane. It just says...
Oh, that's certain, right?
It just says, yes, when a monster effect is activated during the turn, period, it doesn't matter when it activated, you can activate its effect to set any normal spell or trap from your deck, or if the monster that activated was from the hand, you can add it to your hand instead.
That's ridiculous.
So, like, you literally can just set regular Triptych Tactics and then, you know... Or Change of Heart, or if someone hand traps you, you can set Dimensional Barrier straight from your deck. You know what I'm saying? Because it sets it as well. Yeah, it's actually really cool. Deck building is going to change because of it.
Interesting.
What's that? What's that one with the Bow Goddess on there? Is that that's a normal, right? That's a normal spell. The one that really hasn't seen play, but like you send a link monster. And yeah.
Oh, that's a normal spell, so you can tutor that straight from the deck.
Oh, yeah.
Is that seeing more play right now in the OCG?
It's kind of seeing plays in the side deck for Flunders, but not so much like sporadically
even
in the
with
OCG. I mean, well, their decks are already slower. That meta is already a slow meta. Like their card pool is a little bit more different than ours. Like they have more floodgates to their disposal. Maxi is legal. Like their decks are really kind of slow to begin with. So I mean, they don't really normally play cards like that. But I mean, shit, you never know. People might switch around and start playing cards like that in the OCG if something calls for it. Shifter's another good one, but like people are more shifting towards things like Forbidden Droplet, which might see more side play because of the shifter and how Dimensional Fissure and Macro come out of the side deck, which turn off Droplet. So personally, I'm playing Imperms and Forbidden Chalices. I feel as though Chalice is still a good card to play to negate. That's still active and live, even in the middle of a turn after you've already committed to the board, which is something that Imperm just can't give you.
Okay. Now, like, Dylan, you've played Tier a lot, right?
Yeah, I haven't been there in the last month, so since really the ban list hit, but I've been playing Tier since they dropped.
Okay, so being like, you know, very familiar with the deck and everything like that, like, what would your opponent like have to have? Like, how many interruptions do you think your opponent would have to play through in order to really have you be like, oh jeez, like, I don't know what I'm gonna do after that, you know what I mean?
So usually, like, when that shit happens, it's the normal suspects, like the Super Poly or Beer Mode was fucking, like, if I saw that, I literally, like, well, go fuck himself, you know what I mean?
Ooh, Sphere Mode, interesting, okay.
Like, because that leaves my trap cards dead at the time, you know, you're playing the 2, and then all of a sudden your tier elements are gone. So those were the board breakers that I feared for, like, that was making me go, like, oh, gee.
Okay,
Spear Mode and Lava Golem are definitely making their way back in next format. I mean, Cashteer is going to end on 3 monsters. Tier element still ends on 3 monsters plus, or if middle of the turn they still get it. So lava golems are going to be sided at the very least.
Yeah, and Zeus is common power. His return.
So would you say like a lot of going second decks would see like more play this format? Like maybe like your Red Maju or anything that can just basically throw up 8,000 or more points in one turn.
I mean, there are some aggro decks. I'm pretty sure. I mean, Cyber Dragon still has Clockwork Knight, so they can make a 5k Chimera, and it turns off a lot of the decks that are monotypes that just like Flunderies and stuff like that.
Okay.
They don't really care about the graveyard so much with Cyberload Fusion. They can just fuse from the banner zone and put them back into the deck. So you have to think that I guess most of the decks that are aggro like Grand Maju would do well, but we're gonna head more towards a meta where the graveyard's almost trying to become irrelevant. I feel as though Konami's trying to push that like agenda on us, like stop using the graveyard so much. Like they could have very well banned tier cards or limited tier cards, and instead they just chose to unban cards that mess with the graveyard, which is the plus of tiers, which I don't feel as though is the same thing.
Right. I feel that, and then we just witnessed the OCG now neutering tier element. Like,
oh, absolutely.
Oh,
the OCG list for sure. Did you see the OCG list, Dylan? Did you see what your deck is gonna look like?
What deck?
That exactly, for real. That's what should have happened.
No way.
But, you know, you also have to understand, 100%. Nah. You guys have had crazy.
I mean,
representation.
when it first
It's
came
insane.
out, Sprite was definitely the better deck, but it still competed with it. And then recently, we've taken over representation.
I mean, but Sprite is still a competitor.
Oh, 100%. Like, they can get you.
I think even Exorcist is still a good rogue strategy. Like, there's still some strong tier 1 decks, but tier 1 is still like 10% of the room.
right. Like like day 2, or like when you get the top cut, like you're looking at being the 2% or
Yeah, though, exactly. The 1 or 2 or 3 decks that make
Right.
it in.
you're gonna be that little sliver on the pie.
And more than
that
often than
breakdown.
not, your deck is tiered towards like making it that way.
It's like, oh, this deck just got lucky today, blah blah blah.
I know,
they just played the format well.
Like they'll get a lot of the like road decks like that just get like that random top. Like we just see like a burn deck get a top not too long ago.
We did, as a matter of fact. Mystic Mind got a YCS top in Mexico. Yeah, that did happen.
Dude, but at the same time, it's just like, man, Mystic Mind didn't need to go. I feel like with Mystic Mind being gone, a lot of people decided to give up on spell trap removal because people are gearing to playing with or around the D Fisher and the Macrocosmos, I feel. Or they're just already playing other answers that are in the board that, a lot of people aren't playing side deck cards anymore for spell trap removal, like Twin Twister, Cosmic Cyclone, maybe the Cosmic Cyclone for Runic.
I don't know. I think Lightning Storm went into a bunch of decks after the ban list hit, if I'm not mistaken, for a lot of tier players. And then Heartbeat, I think, went up.
There was a time where everyone played Mine, and then there was a time where everyone was like, all right, let's not lose to Mine. Yeah, and then now everyone's playing it out, and then now that it's banned, I feel as though we're back to a time where it's like, all right, we don't really have to play Heartbeat because we don't fear Mine. It's not here anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But I was just, I don't play tier. I do understand tier, but I don't play tier personally, so like that's just what one can assume. I mean, Dylan, you played the deck more than I did. I know you were at least siding one Heartbeat, right? Or was it in the main board?
Towards the just to
Or
get rid of.
Yeah, just to like get rid of Mine. Did you respect Mine enough to put the Heartbeat in, or did you play another form of back row removal?
Well, I played Harpies too, just for that, and I believe I put Cosmics in the side. So you definitely fear it.
I mean, I feared it too. I always had the Cosmics in.
I mean,
Dust
it's
is
nice
still in the
though, like, because we had a way around it with the what's that poly card where you can activate, you send a fusion monster back, so it triggers our field spell. So that was a good way to get around it too. So like, the deck had built in a ways around it when that was a thing,
Interesting. Okay.
You still gotta fear the Reaper, no matter what they say.
But I still think at all, it's only strong because it's how interactive it is. It's not like it's just the board it ends on is kind of mids. It's just the fact that it's doing all of that and still building the rest of its board on your turn, like disrupting you as it goes. And it's like that's what's the real like. Okay, this is kind of oppressive towards other decks. Like I was playing with a buddy of mine, Christian, and I'm playing Sprite, and my Sprite deck is geared directly towards tier elements, and he was playing Naturia Ishizu, and so I'm opening Shifter, and I'm mannequin catting him and bringing out these oppressive ass cards, and he just has like he's like, wow, I can't believe like we're doing this. Like everything is Shifter, macro, Di-Fi. I'm like, yeah, man, it's just what I thought I was gonna be playing against Ishizu, and I'm playing against you. You know what I'm saying? So like I understand that the meta is shifting in towards. We're just trying so hard to combat a Shizu tier that the only thing we know is they use the graveyard. Let's just turn it off. And it's just, I don't know, sometimes it gets crazy.
That goes back into the other topic of how meta the deck really is, and people, trying to... It's not that good in the time, but I mean, look at the meta.
I definitely give it its respect, for sure. Like, I've never been in a tier 0 format. I missed the latter end of 2018 when Spiral was there. But I started playing in 2019 with Dark Neostorm. Was this a Dingirsu just got released when I started playing? So Orca started to get a little bit more strength against the striker decks, and Thunder Dragon as well, because it was like a non-targeting way of getting rid of the Colossus. But in the same aspect, I've been around since that, so since then, and now I was in a toss format, so I'd never been in a tier 0 format where this is the best deck, and everyone has to prepare to go against this deck or get ready to play the mirror match against this deck because it's that strong. So this is my first time. I do kind of feel as though it's maybe one of the underwhelming tier 0 metas, but it's still, I guess, by definition, tier 0 as it is.
Well, I think Ian and I, we've been around. You've been around forever.
Oh my god, yeah, I've been here since starter deck Yugi Kaiba. I'm old as dust over here.
Yeah, he's old. He's old as fuck.
Yeah, that's when I was rubber banding my shit. Fucking no sleeves and playing people for cards, and then you're like, I didn't lose, bro. You're not getting my Dark Magician.
I was rubber banding that. I love fight you, Mom.
But I mean, we were around for Goiki. What was that? The Nightmare meta.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that's when Master Rule 4 came out. I mean, what did you think about back then for that compared to now?
Oh, the Goki Link with the got the Gumblar Dragon. Oh.
Because I mean, I was still new. Like, I'm still bad at the game, but at least I understand a little more.
So like I didn't really play that much of that format just because of how ridiculous that deck was. Like that deck needed to get hit. Like it just looped everything out of your hand, and then they ended on a U-Link. So then it's just like, oh well, I guess I ain't doing anything. But like when they first introduced links, and they had the rules were like specific, like you could only special summon monsters from the extra deck in the extra monster zone or to zones link monsters pointed to. So like right now, like with all the Exceed monsters, synchros, and fusions all coming out anywhere on the field right now after they revised that rule beforehand, like it was just really tricky to play. I feel like the game got a little bit easier with the link mechanic now.
Well, back to that. So I came in right at the end of the Zoo format when Master Rule 3 went to 4. So I got brought to this.
So you weren't around 4 zoos. You came.
So I came in with a best deck ever, the Toon deck.
Okay.
This was my first time going to
shut the fuck
going
up,
to
Dylan.
play the game.
God damn, we're gonna lose all of our sponsorships.
And it's
God
gone.
damn it.
So we came in, and this is me and my buddy Ron were playing. He was playing Dark Magician. He was living the anime life. and we just get fucking rocked, bro. I think Cecil was playing. I think it was either Dinos or ABC at the time, and then the other deck was like Zoo. And this is when they got hit, and they were still just a ridiculous deck. And this was that classic like old like because I didn't play since I was in elementary school.
Yep. Wait, was this around Shining Victories? Was this like when the Blue Eye, like some of the newer Blue Eye support came out too, like the Sage and like the Ancients and like
This
all
was
that
right.
shit? Like,
So this was after Zoo got hit. Literally Master Rule 3 was coming to an end, so links were just coming in. So this was right around what's Firewall Dragon set.
that's
This was before the structure decks with the first links came out, like with Link Dragon or whatever his name is, Arrow Dragon.
Okay, so this was Pendulum. This was still Pendulum and
XYZ, like you could just summon your
Okay.
XYZs wherever. So like we learned on that, and then we went
Yep.
right to the link format, which was like it was like honestly a perfect time to get into Yu-Gi-Oh because people had to find a way how to play with the links to get all the extra deck shit out. So it was like it's definitely cool playing in that era and then learning through it.
All right, so I guess we'll lead that into the last topic I have, which is our first. So because we're going into the next year, 2023, we're gonna be doing our first, and we're gonna be doing the first of what we're gonna be doing for the next year. So let's talk about the first of locals we ever had, the first regional we ever had, and if we went the first YCS that we ever had.
So
Let's start locals.
God,
Everyone's
that's-
first locals experience.
So I went to. There was a store. If you go down the road from Comic Zone, it's like next to the fish shop now, North Syracuse or something, or was. It was this wrestling.
Sailfish.
No, other way. But it was near this. It was this wrestling store. The only people that were in there, just to give you an idea of like what kind of place this was Bibbidi was like the leader of the cult that they had in there. Not a cult, but
The
like the
racist
fucking
cult, obviously.
the little gang. Yeah.
We all
in
heard
this
about his
in
posts.
America.
All
in
Billy's
America.
posts are crazy, so I don't know. I don't want him leading anything. But continue.
And I mean, these guys use like fucking printed out cards from home and that had like the anime effect on them and shit. And I went in there with Toons, greatest deck in the world, and just fucking won. So I was coming in hot, and then John McOakes was there, and he was like, "Yeah, this isn't locals like at all, by the way." And we're like, "What?" And then he told us about Play the Game. So me and my buddy Ron went, and I went there with, like I said earlier.
You stopped these fucking playground guys, and now you're gonna go
Yeah, bro.
play the game.
I'm like, yo,
bringing
like,
twos.
yeah, we get tournament packs and shit. I'm like, yo, I'm about to fucking like get mad sore credit. I'm like, this is fucking dope. And then so we go there, and I played John Solznick, if I'm saying that name right, and he was playing Skolznick, yeah, and he was playing fucking Zoo, and he was like, "You ready to get taken to the zoo?" I was like, "What the what?" I was like, "Yeah, man, bring it on." And so I went to summon, I went to start the Toon combo, and he activated Ash, and I was like, "What the fuck is that?"
What is this?
I was like, "All right, I guess my turn is over." And then he was just like,
I feel
he was
that.
just like, "Oh boy." And then he just did the full fucking Zoo combo, bro, on me. And I was like, "Is that I was double checking, reading shit. I was like, "Yeah, dude, I guess that's cool." I didn't know I could fucking do that. And I went 0-4 that tournament.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to erase all of Ballerino's voice now. But you could still laugh and shit because I can just do it separately. I'll just erase the track when I go to edit this. But you weren't there for the first clip, but you can still talk now. Just know that you're not gonna be on this. All right, cool. I didn't want to. I can say it now because I can chop this up. Clap. And then Ian, what was your first?
Yo.
What was your first locals like?
Oh
'Cause
God.
you're old.
So
You're old school Yu-Gi-Oh.
I am old. So yeah, so way back in the day, it was GOAT format,
Can we
and
get
I
some
was
sound
playing
effects going
at
for that?
what
Like,
is
doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. like going back in time.
Look at the soundboard going.
Oh my god, it's just like
Wait, back.
fucking all the machines fucking going fucking back. Oh, so anyways, the what people call play the game, read the story now used to be called
Altered States. I remember it
back
as Altered
in the
States.
day. So that's where I started playing locals. I went there with like some like jank deck that me and my brother were putting together, and you know, every now and then we'd get a chance to go out there. But I didn't really start playing seriously until I was able to drive, and then that was probably around. That was a little before Edison format. I would say I really started playing. It was so like around 2009, 2010 was like when I really started playing a lot more. Yu-Gi-Oh.
Like right before Edison format.
It was cool. I was rocking ancient gears. I love machines, so any kind of deck that was machine I was trying to play. So Cyber Dragon was my bag. I hated.
Hail Sidra.
Dude, I hated the fact that Cyber Dragon was at 1, and there were cards that you couldn't even play, like Cyber End Dragon. I loved Zane Truesdale from the GX era. Freaking wanted to play fucking Power Bond into Cyber End Dragon.
Power Bond. This is, I'm assuming, pre Cyber Dragon Core.
Oh yeah, yep. This was way before Infinity was ever seen in Father Konami's eye. You know, that
and then what they had access to was Nova. Nova came out in Destructor Deck, but I think all of them. But I didn't know if like Zwei or Dry were ever introduced before Destructor Deck.
Dry was in the structure deck. Zwei, that's the 1600 attack one or 1500 attack one. Level 4.
Dre is the, I want to say either 15 or 1800 attack. Oh, Dre is the level 4, the one that makes everything level 5.
Right,
Zwei
no, I'm
is the
talking
4,
about Zwei. Zwei's the one.
1700 one.
Okay, so Zwei was out, and like there were other like niche Cyber Dragon cards I was playing like the Cyber Laser Dragon, the Cyber Barrier Dragon.
Well, they were good for the time. They're nostalgic, I'll say. They weren't really good.
Yeah, but anyways, TLDR, the deck I played a lot of though was Ancient Gear Machina during Edison format, because that deck was just so much fun. And you could get cards out for literally free. First regional experience was Rochester, Millennium Games.
That's what's up.
I don't remember what I played, but I know for a fact that one of my regionals that I went to Catskill, and I won that regional playing Dino Rabbit, and that was Photon Shockwave, I think was the name of the pack. Photon Shockwave and like Order of Chaos, so this was when Insectors were starting to become hot.
That's kind of cool. So you topped it, you won the whole thing?
I won a regional. I topped it. I got third in standings. It was top 8 playoffs. And
regionals did top 8 playoffs? Beat. No way!
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's
we did
so much.
Yeah.
That's just so much.
Yeah. So we were at Catskill till about at least midnight. And yeah, but I ended up playing. I played against Dark World. I played against. Who did I played against in top 8. I played against Dark World. I beat him, and then I played against I think 2 wind up decks. I think it was wind up.
You won
yes,
the whole
it
thing?
was wind up.
And this
yep,
man
I won the whole thing.
Fuck them
I
all.
won.
I'm here for the mat in the box.
Dude,
were they still giving out mats and boxes?
They gave out a mat, and they gave out like sneak packs. But I swear to God, the packs that I got 48 packs.
Oh my gosh.
Out of all the 48 packs of Order of Chaos, not a single Inzektor Hornet was pulled, and that Inzektor Hornet was
It was the money
$40
card? Wow,
super
that's
rare.
crazy.
Yeah,
super rare.
It was a money card. Yeah. Yep. I
Is this
didn't
back
pull
when
a
you weren't
single one.
guaranteed
Like
a super rare in each box?
Oh,
I
okay.
think
I was
so,
gonna
yeah.
say that's like
Or
the
each pack,
dragons
yeah.
right now. Like what are they? Like $10, $12?
Yeah, the
Are they still-
Bystials are crazy right now. They're Bystio Magnumut's 20, and then Jerusalem just touched 18 today. Yeah, it's insane.
Wow. But freaking that, but like to this day, like I feel like Kerwin's game store mapped those packs and just gave me
They're
all
like, yeah,
the
fuck it, this
J
Hornet's
packs.
staying with us,
To
baby.
this day, I feel like
You mean it won the regional, but you didn't win these.
Like, but I had fun though. It was a blast. Freaking the only loss I had in Swiss was to Dan Grable and his Chaos.
Oh, that's
Dragons.
crazy. At least you lost another Q.
That's when they
you
came
know what
back.
I'm saying? Shout out to Q's.
Yeah,
They're the
yeah,
best.
to like one
We
of the
the
goats.
best.
On top of that,
I guess my first locals, like I said, was when Orcus came out. I was playing players like Sean, who was on Orcus. I wasn't playing Orcus. I was playing Cyber Dragon because, you know, Cyber Dragon's Bay. You know, we'll live and die by the Cyber Dragon. But it was back when, like, you still had to. I had to play Seeger and like Almirage and Link Karibo because you needed the downward arrows to play in the Link format, and like how Galatea was and shit like that. But it was really cool to just contact views. Like I auto went against Orcus players. I played my first Sprite, or no, not Sprite. I played my first Sky Striker, my first Orcus, my first what was another rogue deck? Oh, Thunder Dragon, and another something else. I played like almost all the toss format except for Salad in one day, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. This is what the meta is like. I've been watching videos for the last couple of weeks about these decks, and now I'm playing against them. I can see why people say, oh, you're supposed to play this against this card, because when you're getting your ass whooped by them, you really do be searing those memories into your head. So, but yeah, how about your regional, Dylan? What was your first regional like?
It was a fun drive. I was. When was it? Was it in Ohio? It might have been Ohio. No, that might have been yeah, it was probably Ohio or Philly was my first regional.
Okay.
It was It was crazy because like my world until that point was play the game and Comic Zone. And this is back when I was like, oh man, like this is kind of nerdy, like fuck, like this is small, low key. But then as soon as you,
you're just like, please, no one,
yeah, right. Like when you're in the Yugi closet,
no, I don't want to get exiled.
You're like, oh man. But that's not me.
I'm so sorry. It's not me.
I'll sell him. But we went there and it was so huge and seeing so many people, and you see the judges in their judge shirts and shit, you know, for the first time. They all don't fit them, you know, because they've got it years ago. But besides that,
they just fucking tuna canned in these shirts.
But you're like, oh shit, and then you meet your first like you know, like Rule Shark, and you're like, oh, like people warned me about this, and they do it. So it's unforgiving when you're brand new. You know, if you're nervous and you got those first misplays or anything like that. It's serious.
No, I can understand. My first regional was in Catskills, and it was at Kirkland's, and I was playing Cyber Dragon, and I got my first invite. I got 30th place out of 32. No, I got 30th place out of 40. What is it? 46 or whatever 48 or whatever the number was. 46 or 48.
Yeah, I think it's
then
48.
That's what it was. It was 48,
yeah.
And I got 30th place. I was playing Cyber Dragon. I won 5-1, and I started off that regional 2 with a tie, or X2 with a tie. So 2 losses, 1 tie by the third round. Then we went to the lunch break, and I was talking to Devon, and I was like, you know what? I am not losing another game the rest of this. I've been losing this bullshit of just me like misplaying and like not thinking everything all out. I'm gonna sit here, take a breath, and I'm gonna really try and play. And from that point on, the next 5 rounds straight, I won, and they couldn't touch me. I was literally 2-0ing my opponents all the way up. It was insane, and I eventually got to 30th place, which I think was great to get the top cut within, or at least get your invite. I wouldn't say top cut, but you at least get your invite, your first regional. But I was definitely fueled up, so it felt good. I'm still trying to get back up to those levels. I put an unbelievable amount of work and commitment to it, and I don't think I've ever put enough, or have since put enough work as I did for that regional.
I feel that. Like it's always good to be prepared going into regionals and stuff like that, but I feel like at the same time it's like there is never enough time to prepare or be ready for any little niche or nuance that happens at a regional. Yeah. Like I've always told myself in the end, like if I'm not having fun coming here to play, then like I don't know, man. Like winning, yeah, hell yeah. Like, give me them dubs, but at the same time, it's like, I want to be able to enjoy myself there too, be able to share my
absolutely, I can agree with that.
On the road trip, pull out food and stuff like that too. Like, that's how I see Yu-Gi-Oh! I see Yu-Gi-Oh! As like a social experience.
I see it like that too.
I agree. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. More or less that.
Like I kind of flicker up a notch where like I want to win though. Like it's just that
we're up the competitive
me. And like so I'll go out and I'll be like I'll see this deck list real quick and then I'll be like, oh, okay, like I'll buy these cards and then I'm like I'll figure out what they're used for when they get here or some shit. So like I'll just be like sitting at the computer and you just roll up and then you get too high, you're like I'll learn that shit later. And then you're at locals getting fucking hit with it. And you're like, oh.
Yeah, that's what
yeah, but that's how I learned the game. Like I learned it just by playing like
by getting your ass whooped. I mean, I feel right. That's the best way to learn.
And you're like, okay.
Well, I mean, because we have, so for people who listeners who don't know, we have people like Eric Christensen, who is like the farthest going North American player in Worlds. I think he got 2nd place, and he was playing Blue Eyes. But he's a part of our locals. So we have like players like Dan Vrabel, like players like V Lee. We got a whole bunch of Q's players who are really, really good. So like locals is not always a cakewalk. You know what I'm saying? You can kind of go in there and learn something new by getting your ass whooped. I never look at and play those players and think, oh damn, I gotta play Eric. Oh damn, I gotta play Dan. It's all right, cool. I get to play Eric. I get to learn something. All right, cool. I get to play Dan. I get to learn something. I get to have a good interaction. You know what I'm saying? Or something that, especially players like Matt Pelletier, who are just really good technical players. I just have that edge where like, yeah, I want to win, but like I'm there to learn so that way I can win consistently next time.
But yeah, for sure. I learned off of playing Scott, and he whooped my ass so many times. Like, dude, there was like a good year or two before I'd stop getting my ass whooped by Scott. Like, we chill at my house and throw down the whole night, and like you'd win like fucking twice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you just get better
games,
and better.
not matches. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. But yeah, that's how you learn though. Like he taught me like how to break down a Yu-Gi-Oh card. Like there's still a ton of shit I don't know, but like I can understand the language of Yu-Gi-Oh because of players like him.
You can skim it. That makes sense. I think that's all the time we got today, guys. Feels like we're gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna edit this shit whenever I get the time, so you guys can enjoy this with your ears and throw us money and love and support because you love us and we're funny and we're gonna be awesome. So thank you guys for listening and joining us today. Much love to our guest Ian Fitzpatrick, one of the older and more wise players in our locals. And I am Player X.
I am Dylan for now.
And we are Semi-Limited Podcasts signing out.
Happy New Year, sluts.